Welcome, everybody. It is 4 o'clock, and I know that because um, I can hear the beautiful sounds of the chimes in Breslin Tower, and um, I know that it's time to start. And so I know you guys are busy, and I want to get started. I want to introduce myself. I'm Susan Askew. I'm class of '86, and I'm Associate Vice President for Alumni and Parent Programs. And I just can't tell you how excited we are that you guys are joining our Sewanee family, and we just can't wait to meet you. And tonight we're going to what we're doing is we are trying to give you a lot of information before you bring your students to campus. And although we will hold orientation that weekend, it's just not a lot of time in between all the other things. And so we thought it'd be good to offer some of these ahead of time and get a lot of your questions answered. So today's topic is on residential life, all the questions about the dorms and what it's like living there and what all goes on, and some rules and maybe, and also on dining and all the options that we have here for your student in the dining hall and elsewhere. And so we're joined tonight with Caroline Thompson. She's the Associate Director for Dining and Communications. And Brent Tate is the Associate Vice President for Sewanee Dining. And Casey Krieger is he just said he's having a little bit of trouble with his audio, but he's going to come back. But he is the Director of Residential Life. And so what I'm going to do is let them just give a brief overview just about things that they're going to maybe anticipate sharing with you and questions you might have. But then some of you have submitted questions ahead of time that we will answer. And then if you think of anything as we're here tonight, if you'll put it in the Q&A section down there or the chat, either one, we'll check those and we'll get those answered tonight, but or today, this afternoon, same thing. Well, great. Well, Casey, can you hear us now? I don't think so. So I'm going to start, given the fact that we'll try to work out Casey's audio problems. Let's start with dining. I mean, I want to share with the families on this session tonight that you're going to be in for a treat. The options that the students have are, believe it or not, used as another restaurant option for community members. People that go to our church after Sunday service will go to the dining hall to eat their Sunday offerings, and people take their kids to Sterling's. And anyway, I'm going to turn it over. Brent, do you want to start with that?
Sure. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Okay. So first of all, welcome everyone. I appreciate everyone attending, and what we hope to do is just give a brief synopsis of all that is dining. I mean, if we covered everything, we would be here for quite a while. So I think the idea is just to give you a brief synopsis of what we do and how we plan on taking care of of the new students, i.e. your children. So just to give you an idea of the program, we went self-operated in 2012. So all of the dining employees are university employees as well. And how the dining plan works, which is unique to Sewanee, is that we have an all you care to eat, anytime you care to eat facility. So McClurg is the main dining hall. It's located pretty much in the center of campus. And McClurg is open every day from 7 a.m. till 8 p.m. So that's 7 days a week. And students are encouraged, and the dining hall is available to them to eat as much as they want, whenever they want during those hours. Now, during those hours, we do have meal periods. So we will serve these kind of composed meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But even in the outside of those windows of time, we always have food available. So we'll serve breakfast from 7 a.m. till about 10:15. Lunch will start at 11 and run till 2. And then we'll have dinner from 5 until 8. And then again, in those windows in between those meal periods, we will always have hamburgers, hot dogs, and other items available for students to eat. Along with that, just to let you know, we are primarily a from scratch kitchen. So we are not just opening boxes and heating up things or throwing things in the steamer. We go ahead and smoke all of our own pulled pork and beef. We marinate all of our own chicken. So we not only we try to hold a quality standard, but at the same time, we know what's going into our food. And that's probably one of our other real successes here, is because we're self-operated, we can massage the program as we need to. So when we have students that have dietary restrictions, for example, we can massage the program to accommodate their needs. About 20% of our food is locally sourced. And that's something we really take pride in as well. We know that we are a partner in the community, and also a pillar. And so because of that, we really try to work with our local growers and vendors to make sure that we are putting the things that they produce forward. It's also cleaner, and it creates an environment that students know where their food's coming from. And as far as variety is concerned, we are well aware that students will be eating at McClurg or on campus for about 200 to 215 days out of the calendar year. And so we have a number of stations available, and we make adjustments to those stations pretty much every semester, but at the very least every year. So we'll have pizza and hot dogs. Chicken fingers is a big thing. We always have those. One of the major things we're doing this year is we have an allergen-free station. So we know that people have dietary restrictions, and we have a station that is free of the big 8 allergies, so that any student that has any of those restrictions knows that they can go to that station and feel comfortable. So that's just kind of again, a quick synopsis of some of the things that we do here in dining. But Caroline is going to tell you a little bit more about some of the other things that we do.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Okay. So we try to engage the students as much as we can because, we live in a small, Sewanee is a small town. There are more options than there ever have been. But, when you go into the same building, for 3 meals a day, we understand that sometimes you want a little bit more excitement and engagement. So we do a lot of special events. We partner with other departments and groups on campus. We decorate the dining hall with lots of holiday decorations, Christmas and Halloween and Thanksgiving. We do a special Thanksgiving meal where it's a huge community event. We also do Lunar New Year in January or February, whenever it falls, and we partner with a lot of the Asian organizations, international organizations around campus with students, and there's dancing and special food and decorations and just a way for students to get excited. Valentine's Day, we have a chocolate fountain, which is very beloved. The lime usually wraps around the stairwell and the other stations. And so we are really open to student ideas too. So if they come to us with something, we try to make that happen. In addition to the unlimited swipes at McClurg, students will also receive $150 each semester called Flex Dollars. And those Flex Dollars can be used at any of our retail locations, which include Sterling's Coffee House, the Cup and Gown Cafe in the library, and the Tiger Bay Pub in the BC. And those offer more hours so that students can find food until 2 a.m. on Wednesday through Saturday, until midnight and 11 p.m. The other days of the week. So the late night dining, they can have options and they can pay for it through their flex dollars. Sometime mid-semester, we hope. There's some construction delays. We hope that Beal Commons will open, which is a student commons. It will have a restaurant in it. And we're really excited. It's going to be, the menu is going to be very different than what else is found on campus. It's going to be some bold flavors. We're thinking probably like a rice bowl, grain bowl, lettuce, where you can choose your own adventure with different protein options. We're going to have poke bowls sometimes, burrito bowls, and that sort of thing. So that's something really to look forward to. So we're excited to announce that when we have a firm date on when that will be. You can also go to, or in addition to the $150 for Flex to spend at our retail locations, you can also spend those at our downtown partners. So that includes like the Blue Chair and lunch and shenanigans, the Sewanee Market, so they can get snacks and things like that. So that gives students a lot of options. If they run through their $150, you or anyone else can add domain dollars. That's what we call them, the money that is added onto the meal program. And I'm gonna share my screen and show you, and just show you our website. So if you go to, it'll come up dining.sewanee.edu. And on your phone, this little, in this section will be at the bottom, but on a desktop, it's in the middle. And this is where you can find a lot of information. So domain dollars, you can add students, add money to student accounts, and that way they can have some extra cash to buy snacks, buy other meals and things like that. It's here, and you'll go in and you'll just need to know your student's banner ID. Also on this website, if you go back up, you can see if your student is sick and they are not sure, you know, if they can't get out of their room, or they don't need to be around other people and spreading germs, they can request a sick meal form and get a friend or a proctor or someone else to pick up a meal for them and bring it back. So all they have to do is fill this out, and we will give takeout to them so that we can make sure that they're getting taken care of. The other thing you can do is look at our menus. We are now updating daily menus. You can see this is McClurg. You can see Sterling's and Cup and Gown also. But you can see all of our allergen information. That way they can kind of figure out what if that's something they're interested in, or maybe they want to eat at Sterling's today, etc. The other thing that we wanted to talk about is if your student has a severe allergy or some other condition that they may need some dining accommodations, we highly recommend and encourage your student to sign up through this student accessibility intake form. So we actually work with the Student Accessibility Office really closely, and we make a lot of accommodations so that students are able to get what they need. They're able to be in the dining hall with other students. It's a social engagement piece, eating in McClurg, and we think it's really important. And so we want to make sure that they're getting what they need. You'll also see up here, oops, I gotta go back. I'm sorry. This is the dining team. You can find all of our information. So here's Brent Tate's information. Mine is down here. And we're happy to answer any of your questions. The thing that we encourage the most is the students telling us what's going on, telling us what they like, telling us what they don't like. We can't change things that we don't know. And so if your student is having, having trouble finding something that they really want, they miss having something that you normally have in your kitchen, we love to hear that. And most of the time we can make that happen. And so please send them our way. We also have feedback forms. Every email that we send has links to an anonymous feedback form. All of our napkin holders have a QR code. And we go over those responses every Monday in our managers meeting. If it's a more urgent issue, we of course talk about it before then, and try to make all of those happen. So I think if there's anything I can stress, is to have your student voice anything that they need to us. We're ready to listen. All right, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Brent, do you want to add anything else?
No, I mean, I think that covers it. Again, there's going to be a lot of other specifics that I think we will cover when everyone's on campus.
Fantastic. And I know there are a few questions that we'll get to in a little bit. And but now welcome, Casey. Glad you are here. And would you share a little bit about what it's like to live in a dorm? I know that it's something like 95% of our students live in the residence hall. And so if you'll just take it from here and give a little background on all that.
Absolutely. So our residential experience here at Sewanee is the backbone of our university. We thrive on a residential community here with our students, with our faculty and staff, and our other community members that live here on the domain with us. And so we all have a different piece to our puzzle. But as we approach the start of the fall year, that means students will be arriving, moving is upon us, and it'll be a new journey, a new chapter for our students' lives as they hit this new developmental process for them, as they start classes, start living with folks that are 10 feet away from them. And so one of the big important things as we approach the year is our roommate assignments just went out last week to everyone. And so everyone was able to get logged in, be able to see their roommates and start connecting with them while those next 5 or 6 weeks, or maybe less, depending upon their arrival date, to start connecting, to figure out what they're bringing, bridging that friendship between them, with them, their suite mates, or others in certain populations might be involved in. And so of discussing who's bringing the fridge, who's bringing these decorations, am I checking out the housing policies on the website? What can I bring? What can I bring? Etc. And so preparing for some of those pieces. As your students moving in, some of the things that really need to be thought about as a parent is being that support network. Your child's going to be living close in communal living with many other students going through the same transition phase in their lives of first-year students, because a majority of our first students are only in first-year student buildings, only solely with them. And so the opportunity to them to learn from each other, connect, is very important, but it doesn't mean it's not going to come with challenges. Maybe roommate concerns could come up potentially, and then we can talk about the mediation process. We can talk about room change process if we get to that, but hopefully we do not. That is an option as well. But when each student moves in, they have their roommate agreements that they fill out at their floor meetings, so they can talk about what those boundaries and expectations are in their room, and how they set those standards. And so as a parent, the goal is to help support them, help them navigate that conversation, and so they can develop as young adults to be able to have some of those uncomfortable but yet very strong conversation with their roommates to be able to express how they feel, or to set those boundaries of when we turn off the lights, when we go into the bath, when are we doing anything in the bathroom, how are we sharing that space with either in our community or in our suite, and having that conversation that maybe they never had before. And so, but outside of that, your students can be faced with their proctors in the buildings, that is their support network, that can be there to be able to help them through difficult times as a resource, if it's simple as a lockout, a question, or being engaged socially through programming and community building that they'll put on in the space. As their student leaders that will live in the building, that have gone through this process as first year students as well here. And so there'll be just that student leader that lives there. Every building, depending upon the size, has between 2 or 3. And so there's always somebody going to be available for that. We always have a staff member on call at night, both a proctor and then professional staff levels at 2 different levels to be able to help assist with any emergencies, no matter how small or how big, facilities, lockouts, or more serious situations, here to assist at nighttime. And so always there, including PD as well. But as we get forward, the biggest thing is to be that support network, and my recommendation on that for parents. But reach out, check on them. Classes will start and they might feel overwhelmed, but allow them the autonomy to navigate those pieces. Our area coordinators, the full-time staff, or the neighborhoods, and the proctors are here to support them during that period. But as they get a little bit further, things to just check on them a little bit is, after the roommate agreement and they move in, make sure they get their room condition report in. That'll kind of just check to make sure, hey, you inspected your space, you put that in. So when they check out, we'll go off of that as well to make sure the room is received and left the same way they received it. And then from there, any other time they need something, our office is always available to help during that period. If they need mail, that's always going to go to the student post office. Do not send it to the hall. That will get lost in some format and dropped off some random spot and delayed for that period. But encourage your student to get involved, to get out their space, meet new students. Orientation will be kicking off right when they get here. And if they're involved with pre or FYP, the early arrival programs, or with any other group that may come back early, helping stuff like that circle and meet some new people. Because they're only going to be as successful here as the more they connect to others in our community. Because our community, as I said before, it's a staple for our Sewanee experience here.
Great. Thank you for that, Casey. We have several questions, and I'm glad y'all are sticking around to help answer some of these. I'm going to start with you a little bit, Casey. Do you know, and this isn't one of their questions, but, you know, I know that some dorms are closer than others, but the farthest dorm out is half a mile. What would you say?
The furthest, it depends what your center part of campus is. I'm gonna say McClurg is probably the center in the heart of campus. Students, go there every single part of their day. The furthest hall out, I'd probably say, I wouldn't say it's quite a half mile, I'd probably say about a third of a mile out. But those are upper class buildings. That would be Trezevant and Gorgas Hall. But all of our first year students are all located centrally on campus. The furthest hall out would end up being Courts Hall out of the first year buildings, but they're all right on our heart of campus because we want our first year students to be as connected as possible, as close to resources as possible as they learn our community and learn our campus and learn being here on their own.
Great. I'm going to keep sticking with dorm questions for now, or residence hall questions for just a second. And I feel like, I don't know if other people are having trouble, but sometimes you're going in and out, Casey, a little bit, if you can maybe be closer to the. Okay, being a lazy parent, what's the preferred way of hanging things in the dorm?
Absolutely. So we work with our facility management office really closely on this. Preferred way would actually be like the sticker putty, things of that nature. You can use 3M strips. But if they are removed from the wall incorrectly and peel the paint off, that will be damage to the wall. So please be careful. You do use those, just follow the proper instructions if you're hanging things. So do not put any nail holes in the walls, please. And some of our walls are concrete, so it is more harder to use those things compared to other buildings where it is more sheetrock. So start with the putty. If for like posters and things, if you need a little more strength, go with 3M strips and hooks.
Great. I'm going to do one more before we switch, but I've had a couple questions about move-in. and how strict you are, like if the roommates already moved in because they were here for an earlier program, can the non-early roommate arrive, and then someone said they might just be here a day early, could they check in their dorm?
So, so how it works is if somebody's here early, that means they're approved to be here early. If they're roommates,
I'm
if the
sorry,
roommates-
what did you say?
Yes. So if somebody is coming back for an early arrival, they're approved to be here for a certain purpose. And so if their roommate is not approved to be here early, they would need to wait till our general move-in period to be able to check in. There's administrative tasks and things that happen on the back end to prepare for each group of students that arrives each day. If somebody is here early, they can reach out to our office. And if their space is prepared and ready, it might be something we can accommodate. But they will just contact us either through a phone line or through our departmental email.
Great. A couple on air conditioning, then I'm going to go switch to food. You know, not all of our dorms are air conditioned, and so tell us how awful that is.
It's actually not that bad. Our climate up here isn't 100-degree weather or anything along those lines. It might be a little warm for August and September, but then it'll cool off. Every residence hall does have heat, so if you want to bring a fan, please do that. The only first-year building that does not have air conditioning is Cleveland Hall, and then all the other buildings that do not are upper class buildings. And so, bring a fan. You can put it in the window. From there, but it won't stay too hot for too long.
Great. Awesome. And I agree. I don't think I mentioned this when I introduced myself, but I went here and none of the dorms had air conditioning back then. And it's really just a short span of time that you even notice it, and rarely at night do you notice that you don't have air conditioning. Courts is air conditioned now, right? Awesome. Great. What about if somebody's birthday and they need a birthday cake, can you guys handle that over at the dining hall?
Absolutely. That's just an email away. So if you have a special request that you would like to, extend to your child or a friend of your child, you just let us know and we can very easily make that happen. The other thing that I would encourage all of you to do is to keep up the correspondence with us. We understand that for many of the students, this is their first time to have an extended time away from home, and kids can get homesick. And so, send us your recipes. That's again the beauty of having a self-operated program, is we can make those recipes for the students. And I think it would be a really nice thing to come into the dining hall and see your mother's quiche or your mother's apple pie at the bakery. So we encourage you to keep up the correspondence and pass on those recipes to us.
I love that. I love that. Okay, Casey, I do get this question every year. The whole pre-move-in situation, you have access to your real dorm room and then you go participate in pre, but how much time do you have to move in? Can you explain how that works?
Yeah, so it is different for each program. FYP provides a little bit. Are you able to hear me?
Okay.
Okay, so I'll try to speak up a little bit more.
Okay, that's better.
So with pre-FYP, it is different for each of those programs. FYP provides they actually handle both of their check-ins on their own, and they provide a few hours for the people to be able to unpack, get into their space, and kind of decorate it, set it up as they need, and then they run off and they start their activities. Pre, it's a little more quicker. You pick up your key, you'll drop off your stuff. You have about within their check-in period, you'll have maybe an hour, and then you'll head out to festivities, out into the woods and out into the domain to enjoy the great outdoors here. And so it is a little bit quicker. So your student for pre may be left setting up some of their space on their own as they have a quicker turnaround. But you will get access to their space to put items there for that.
Could the parents go back and finish unpacking?
If their student provides them that access.
Okay. And speaking of access, is it a key or just their ID? How do they get in?
Yeah, so they'll use their ID card to be able to get into the building and their key to be able to get into their room.
And twins or XL twins?
Every single bed in our campus is XL twin.
Great. I've had that question a lot. What about common critters in the dorms, like bugs and rodents and things?
So if for some reason those things ever come up, please, your child could call the proctor on call. They can contact the residence life office, but really the best office to contact is our facility management team. They can have any pest control, or if it's, let's say, an animal from outside got into a building like a squirrel or something, they will come over and handle that in a timely manner. Because we live in the middle of the woods, so sometimes things do happen.
Great. And the actual move-in date for people not arriving early, which were probably athletes, pre-participants, and FYP, is that Saturday, August 19th. Is that correct?
Saturday, August 19th, from 8:30 to 11:30 at our residential life office in the Bishop Commons.
Great. And that is actually when we will hold in-person orientation and the reception hosted by the Parents Council. So the Vice Chancellor will speak to parents. So if you're sticking around or want to come back for that that day, that'll be awesome. You're sure they're all XL twins? She looked online and saw that it was okay. Great. I trust you. Do the beds adjust in height?
Yes, all of our beds are junior loft beds. They can adjust from being almost right on the floor all the way up to about 3.5 feet high.
Is it easy to get locked out? Are dorms automatically locked?
Your bedroom doors, no, but the building doors, yes, they do automatically lock.
You're on the firing squad, Casey. So again, parents can help unpack after pre if the kid says that they can. There used to be an online presence for the layouts of the dorm rooms. Does that exist anymore?
It doesn't. It does not. What's on our website is on our website. Due to our halls, due to the age of them and what they've been converted from originally, each hall has a few different layouts, and so there isn't just one that matches. Our buildings have multiple different size windows, multiple different dimensions in rooms, and so it is not something that that is available at this time.
Okay. Right. I think that's most of it. Someone asked about an online parent directory, and we do offer that in our office. We have it in time for family weekend, but if you want to connect with someone, just you've got my email because I sent you some correspondence. Just email me and I'll try to connect you. But we realize that parents like to connect with each other, and we love that. If your child's going home with somebody, you want to maybe thank them or ask them if it's okay. And so we realized there was no way for you guys to connect with each other. So we created a parent directory a few years ago. And one other thing I like to do before you guys arrive is we kind of have it from, I guess I can say this, from the admission application where you went to your undergrad. So we can see who else went to Washington and Lee, or who else went to Center, or or University of Alabama, and then we share you a list of all those people who also have Sewanee students. And we were seeing that people would maybe realize it when their child was a senior, and they were like, I didn't know my fraternity brother had a child here, and they could have connected all along. So that's really fun to share that with you guys. Have we got any more questions since I've been chatting? The bathrooms get cleaned.
Yeah, so the bathrooms, both community bathrooms and rooms that have suite style, more private bathrooms that are a little bit shared between about 4 people, they do get cleaned on a weekly basis. And our facility management team also supplies the toilet paper for those units as well.
Great. What is not allowed in a dorm room?
Yeah, that's a quite extensive list, but I'd recommend checking out our website. From there, it's based on certain buildings and our theme communities and things. We list those out, and so there are certain appliances with open coils, certain things that are flammables, of course, anything that would be underage, anything around alcohol or drugs or anything for underage students. And so I would encourage you to check our website. That is a very robust list that has everything listed out in those categories for those areas.
Are there blinds on the windows, or do they need to bring curtains?
There are blinds on the windows. If you choose to bring 3M hooks and put them up by the window, as long as you remove them correctly, you can hang a curtain up or anything along those lines in front of the window.
Shower curtains? I love all these questions.
Shower curtains are provided. Our housekeepers do hang them.
Okay. The dorms have Wi-Fi.
Every residence hall has Wi-Fi, and there's an AP. There's an access point within the spaces if somebody needs to hardwire in as well.
Okay. Can they loft their beds? I know that you said they're adjustable, but if they want it up on those risers, they have to bring.
Yeah, they can still bring them. Our beds are all equipped to be able to fit in those type of bed risers you can buy from any Target, Walmart, etc. It's your choice if you would want your bed that high to be that high, because our beds do rise to about 3.5 feet, which is usually high enough for dressers or put a mini fridge under or anything along those lines.
We did have a question about, if you're flying, or how do you get a fridge delivered here? Or how do you make that happen if you can't bring it with you?
Yeah, so for this fall, the best option for that is to ship it to the post office, and you can pick it up from the post office during the move-in period of the operation hours. From there would be the best option, or to pick it up if you do have a rental car or anything along the lines down in Winchester to Walmart or another retailer.
Does Amazon deliver?
Amazon will deliver to the student post office.
Yeah. Are there laundry facilities in the dorms?
Every residence hall has their own laundry facility. Laundry is free, so you just go in, press the button, and it'll work for them. They're all commercial washers and dryers, and so they're used to running 24 hours a day for our students.
And so that part about the beds, they all rise to 3.5 feet?
Yes, any of the ones that did not adjust in the past have been removed and replaced this summer.
Right. What furniture is provided in the dorm rooms?
Yeah, you got that extra long twin bed. You have a desk chair, and depending upon the room, you may have either 2 underbed sets of dressers. That will be a total of 4 drawers, or you may have a chest that stands up, depending upon the room.
Right. Well, I love that the dining people are getting off the hook here. You guys provide awesome services, and I know they're going to appreciate that and have more questions down the road, but right now they're all about the dorm room, I think. Closet dimensions.
Yeah, so closets will vary. dependent upon the space. Some are larger than others. That's just something that will have to wait till you arrive at your space.
Great. I see a birthday cake question. Caroline, you're answering that.
Yeah, I can say it if you want. So we've been typing furiously while Casey's answering questions. Yeah, we have had it go a lot of different ways. You can tell your child to come by, or we can send them an email or something like that. And we do try to do a lot of, I just saw the gluten-free cakes and vegan. We can try to do all that too. Students can bring,
yeah, the guest
Brent, do you want to
question.
answer?
The guest question.
Sure. Yeah, students can bring a guest if they want, and they can, that student, their guest would be charged the door rate, just like any other guest that would come and dine in the dining hall. And then the student can pay for them with their flex money or domain dollars, or just use a credit card, but they would be charged the normal guest rate.
Did you talk about, is that part of you guys, the way that they can use stuff downtown at the restaurants?
Yes, so the flex and domain that we kind of went over, that it can be used at a number of downtown locations. If you check the website, I don't think it has the complete list because there have been some locations added since then, but there are a number of locations downtown that, in addition to the dining hall, the golf course, and other places affiliated with the university, that students can dine and use their flex or domain dollars.
What about athletes? And if they, their schedule sometimes wacky and doesn't align with the dining hall's hours?
Sure. So what we do is it typically will happen with, because we have limited field space, sometimes late practices will get out late. So what we have done is we have a separate menu that we extend to athletes. So all that coach will have to do is give us a call and let us know that, practice is going to run late, and just kind of tell us how many people he would like food for. And then we go ahead and package that up. And then someone from that team will go ahead and pick that up and then deliver that to the players. The other thing that we've done this semester, and we'll utilize this upcoming semester, is the Fowler Center has created a hydration station. And so in that hydration station, for athletes, they'll have drinks and, protein bars and shakes and things of that nature, but they'll also have a warming station. And so when they come and pick up food, they can put that food in that warming station so that food will be nice and warm for them to eat. And again, we have not only what is common to what we serve that evening, but we have another extensive menu that we extend to athletes.
Great. Someone's in courts and they're confused if there's a shared common room or just a shared bathroom.
Yeah, I'll answer this, but I think I'll answer this out to all parents. So courts, they just share a bathroom. It's 2 rooms connected by a bathroom. But if you're interested in seeing any floor plans of the building where your child is assigned to, please have them log into the Engage portal. I will share it in the one question here of the link. And if you click in that link, it's the opportunity they can go to the residential life page, and under our documents is floor plans for all of our buildings on campus. We use those for returning students doing the lottery process, and for any students that ever have questions of layouts of their general buildings. There's no room dimensions or anything because every room is different, but it gives you the layout of the building.
Great. Brett, can you answer that cooking question, please? I can't hear you.
If our child likes to cook on occasion, is there a kitchen available for them to cook either in the dorm or somewhere else? I think that might be better answered by Casey.
Every residence hall has a common kitchen in the space, depending on the hall, some bigger than others, but they're all equipped with an oven, cabinets, a microwave, and a large refrigerator.
And I'll add to that I've heard a lot of talk about a cooking club. We've had one in the past. All the clubs are student driven, so it just sort of depends on the ebbs and flows of their interests. But there are a couple of students that work at Sterling's right now that have been talking about that. So hopefully that will happen, and I would encourage your student to join.
How sturdy is that closet hanging bar?
The bar, it is majority of them are all steel bars. They will hold. I've never seen any of them break or bend or anything along those lines. So load it up.
Awesome. And how would you fill up a water bottle around campus?
Yeah, we have water filler stations in the residence halls, academic buildings, Sterling's, the dining locations. Yeah, there's water filler stations, I believe, in almost every single building on campus.
Great. And what about storage at the end of the year? Do they have to move everything out of the dorms?
So if your students returning at the end of coming back for the spring semester, please just leave your stuff there. They'll be back. You don't have to move your stuff out, but at the end of the May, you will need to move all your stuff out of the space to be able to, so we can use the space for summer camps and conferences and for facilities to be able to go in and, be able to prepare the space and fix any issues within the space. So there might be some storage options maybe come out in the future. But when that does, we will send that out to all parents.
All right. Do y'all have anything to add? Looks like we got through all the questions, but I'm just so grateful that our families are getting to meet you and see a face, and they'll feel like they can reach out to you if they, now they feel like they know you, I think is what I'm trying to say, and that you guys have your hearts in the right place and you're trying to do what's the best for the students. So it means a lot that you guys were here tonight. And for you parents, I'm going to sign off and let you go enjoy the evening. But thank you all for being here. See you.